there might be just one word for what we're seeing on Capitol Hill today. That word, drum roll please, chaos.
But we've got to sit down together, figure out how we're going to solve problems, because the American people sent us here to do that.
Partisanship won. The Senate has failed Arizona. Shameful.
It's more than disappointing. It's dangerous, extremely dangerous what we're doing today. This has to be reversed and the people should demand it.
But it is shameful and embarrassing to see MAGA radicalism take hold here in the Senate.
Well, the Senate's long-awaited, carefully negotiated, and the big word here, bipartisan border bill, it is dead. A foreign and aid package tied to the bill was actually collateral damage in all of this. Republican Senator Josh Hawley, yes, that Josh Hawley, put it this way, quote, "It's been a total disaster. Why would voters look at what goes on over here, the circus, and say, yeah, we want more of this?" Well, let's talk about what the voters might want with former Communications Director for Vice President Kamala Harris, Ashley Etienne, and also CNN political senior, I get some respect on your name, senior political commentator Scott Jennings, also contributor for CNN, Sophia Nelson is back with us, and political analyst for CNN, Coleman Hughes. He's the author of the brand new book, The End of Race Politics, Arguments for a Colorblind America. I know the cover is red. I love it. Well, anyway, again here, Scott, are you feeling pretty good tonight? This is kind of a trick question, a bit rhetorical, but are you feeling pretty good tonight about what Republicans are getting done on the Hill?
Well, I don't know. It's not over yet. I'll put a glass half full spin on it. Sometimes bills don't pass. It's not the first time it has happened, and it won't be the last. They're still negotiating over the foreign aid package, the Plan B option, which got 58 votes today, so it only needs a couple of more to get over the 60-vote hurdle, and they're negotiating over how to get that done. And if that gets done, that'll be a step in the right direction for several priorities that a lot of Republicans have. What's going to be left undone is the border and immigration piece, which continues to be left undone year after year after year. And I think, for the American people, it is true. This has become a major problem. It's become a major issue. And it's become a major crisis under a Democratic administration that for 3 years has claimed the border is secure, and now all of a sudden has realized, oh, the election's coming, so now the border's not secure, and we want to blame somebody else.
Is that really what it is, though, Ashley, when you look at it? Is it really they delayed so long just to wait till right now for Republicans to kind of implode in their own voting?
No, I think the problem's just exacerbated and it's gotten worse over time. I mean, I've traveled all over the country and you can see migrants all over the country. We've had, Democratic governors and mayors leaning on the president to take action. So I think it got to a sort of a boiling point and the president had to do something about it. But it gets back to this issue that you said earlier, which is Republicans don't want to take yes for an answer. What I saw from Biden is he did like classic Clinton triangulation. He gave the Republicans everything that they wanted. It was like a conservative wish list. But he put them in a position to tell him no, and they've done it. And now it creates an opportunity for him to really put this at their doorstep, the failure of the border, the open border on Republicans. But the question is whether or not he can effectively do that alone. He's not yet proven that he can sort of promulgate an effective message that penetrates the key audiences. Thanks, Scott, for agreeing on that one. So the pressure is on him to make the case, but I think he's well positioned to do that.
Is he?
Laura, I think the story here is Senator Langford's speech. Every American should listen to that speech he gave today. It was disturbing because he said before they even looked at the bill, he was told, if you do this, you're going to get destroyed. We're going to destroy you. The real big story here isn't that they didn't get anything done. It's that Donald Trump killed it and told them not to do it, and they fell in line. That, to me, is the real story here of what's happening, and I think that's where we are for the rest of the year until the election.
So what does that mean, then, if you are somebody who's hoping to negotiate? We've seen what happened to Speaker McCarthy, right, when he endeavored to cross the aisle, and he no longer has a gavel, and he's no longer in Congress. Now you have Langford, who is a Republican, one of the most conservative in the caucus, by the way, has been completely villainized for what's happened so far. Who wants to negotiate? Who wants this job?
They told him they were going to destroy him. Listen to what the man said. It's now personal, and I think that's what we're missing in all this. There's this personal element which takes us away from bipartisanship and getting things done. It's just an ugly place right now to be in the Congress.
I think this is why Congress has such low approval ratings right now. I think both parties have egg on their face in this situation. Republicans for rejecting what was a pretty sensible and tough bill on the border that would have gone a long way towards curbing this emergency. And Democrats, frankly, for the second Donald Trump was out of office, Biden wanted to signal that he was not going to be like Trump on the border, and he took his foot off the pedal, right? And that's what allowed this crisis to build up to begin with. That was an example of partisanship too. So in my view, it's partisanship on both sides. This is the reason why we can't get things done, and it makes perfect sense for the American people to be upset with Congress right now.
It's like my grandma said, this is why we can't have nice things.
Right.
Okay, this is why we can't have nice things. Why there's plastic on the couch. But let me ask you this. President Biden said this at a fundraiser in New York, you guys. He said, Republicans have to decide who they serve. Are they here to solve problems or just weaponize them? I mean, this question of basically who do you serve sounds like it might be Trump.
Well, I mean, the question for him is who does he serve? I mean, he is the one that's struggling on this issue right now. I mean, 70-80% of the American people believe this is a crisis, believe it's a top issue, and they believe he has failed on this. And so what has he been doing for the last 3 years? This became urgent to him only when it became obvious boat anchor on his reelection campaign. It didn't matter to him when he promised to give free health care to illegal immigrants during his campaign. It didn't matter to him on day one when he reversed all of Donald Trump's policies. If he had an ounce of humility or good faith here, he would go to the American people and say, I messed up. I shouldn't have reversed those day one executive act. I should not have done that. I'm going to reverse my actions, and I'm going to fire my Homeland Security Secretary for being a failure. And now I'm ready to negotiate. That would be an ounce of good faith where there is none right now.
It is at odds, though. I'm the one to blame, and now I'm going to fire the person who executed my policies. That's kind of the issue about the impeachment of Mayorkas in part. And that failed as well, by the way. Add another thing that failed this week for what Speaker Johnson tried to do. But do you see it that way? I mean, obviously, this has been an issue for a number of years, and frankly, for other administrations, too.
Globally.
But why do you think, to that point of what's taken so long, how do you respond to that in terms of why?
Why
There was not sooner action, to Scott's point?
Well, I mean, the president came into office and implored Congress to pass bills to address this issue. I mean, the position of the president has always been that the way we really address this issue in a comprehensive way is for Congress to take action, right? The Republicans have campaigned on the border, consistently spent millions upon millions of dollars in ads, bashing the president for an open border. And here we are at a point now where they have an opportunity to take a bill that they wrote, they drafted to solve this particular problem. I think everyone's playing politics here, but the one thing is that, I've worked for a speaker before, and if we could just go back, I think the person who has the most egg on their face is Speaker Johnson at this point. Why would you bring a bill to the floor and you don't have enough votes for the bill? But here's the other thing. Laura, this problem's only going to get worse, so it's going to create a bigger opportunity for the president. As we go into the summer, we've seen border crossings only increase as the weather changes and gets warmer. This is going to become a problem for Johnson, that he's put himself in a box, and I'm not really sure how he's going to get out.
Well, the math wasn't mathing, and when that's a problem, you got to figure that out before you go to the floor. But Coleman, I talked about your book at the very beginning, and I want to get into it because it really is fascinating. It really is. And in your book, you talk about the end of race politics. In some respects, people talk about immigration issues as a proxy for a larger conversation on race and beyond. It's been released. How do you hope to change the conversation about race and politics?
Yeah, so this word colorblind has become a dirty word for many people. And actually, it's good that we're talking about this today because we've gotten deep into the 14th Amendment today, and I have a whole section on the 14th Amendment in my book because the first proponent of the 14th Amendment, Wendell Phillips, who is president of the American Anti-Slavery Society, he was the first American public figure to use the word colorblind in his proposing the 14th Amendment. And what he meant by it was that the state should have no business recognizing or discriminating in any direction when it comes to its citizens, right? So this is where I trace the history of the idea of colorblindness to, not to conservatives or to reactionaries, but actually to the most radical anti-slavery activists of the 1860s. And from there, it's a through line through the civil rights movement where you can go back and read Martin Luther King's great book, Why We Can't Wait, where he says, yes, we have to address the legacy of slavery. Yes, we have to address racial inequality. And the best way to do that is not with policy that discriminates on the basis of race, but rather with discrimination that attacks poverty and will disproportionately benefit Black Americans. Nowadays, you would also include Hispanic Americans. And that we should, especially Democrats and people on the left, should rediscover the wisdom of the colorblind approach to addressing poverty, addressing the legacy of slavery, and so forth.
What a great book. I can't wait to read it and hope everyone does as well. Coleman, thank you. Thank you to everyone here on the panel as well. I do give drinks to other people besides just Scott at the table.
I'm taking this home.
I mean, I just
This is
want
going in the Jenny's
look,
kitchen.
we don't have the budget to hand out mugs now. You can look at the mug, you can hold the mug and put the mug back. There's also been a big spike in crime in Oakland, leading some companies to warn their employees not to even leave the building for lunch. I'm serious. Some people are even afraid to go outside. So what is behind the surge? We'll explore it next.